All right, go ahead.
Okay, right now on this screen, we're set up where we've got single mode, air or ignition control. And as you can see, it's controlling air and ignition. Okay. Now the other thing is that now we have, right below that we have it set up as a table.
Where do you see it controlling air and ignition?
At the very top where we actually have the idle control, shows closed loop, single mode, air or ignition.
Right, and you said as you can
But
see.
Down in the log on the left, we got ignition timing going all over the place and moving, and we have idle air duty moving. So I'm logging the actual movement, the ignition idle steps in the stepper motor. Okay? So it's controlling air and ignition when it's set for air or ignition. Okay?
So where's it getting 3 degrees from?
No, it's actually at 3 degrees, not gaining. I'll show you where it's getting it from. It's in the idle settings, idle control settings. So we have ignition turned, it says air or ignition, but it's using both. If you go down to ignition output, ignition up there, idle corrections, I'm allowing it 20 degrees of retard and 20 degrees of advance depending on duty.
Okay.
So it's actually doing that. But my problem is back on the actual idle control, I'm telling it to use one or the other and not both. And it's using both. That's not a big deal because that's just an or an and very confusing problem. That's not the situation. I mean, that's easy.
Okay.
Here's where it gets crazy. If right now the ignition timing is moving, okay? It's moving 2 to 3 degrees.
Right.
Okay? If I change this setting, wherever it is at that instant, it just locks the timing right there. It didn't go to the ignition map. It didn't. It pulled that number out of wherever the car was running at that instant when I hit the button.
Okay, blip the throttle for me.
It goes to the timing map.
But then when it comes back to 0% throttle, it's back to 3 degrees.
It's locked at whatever that number was. So here's the problem. Yesterday, when I started the car up, and I had it set on closed loop, it was running 8 degrees positive.
Right.
Well, this morning I looked at all my settings in the computer and was changing a few things. And when I started it up, it was locked at 8 degrees negative. And I was pulling my hair out, going, how come it idled yesterday and it doesn't idle today? Well, I mean, of course, 16 degrees difference in timing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I unlock this right now, or not unlock, but just change it to the other setting, and that's air or, see now it moves around, and now it's wherever it's at, and I just grab a number again. Well, it grabbed 3 again. If I rev it up or something, it'll grab another number. I did this multiple times. See, look, now it's at 14. Well, see, now it's at 13. Oh, and that's on the timing table right now. But now it's on the timing table. But I haven't hit the button yet. Now I hit the button, and it's saved there. So what did I do differently to make it be on the timing table versus not being on the timing table? Because the timing table base is 13. That's what I mean by it's a little glitchy. Like I just need to know what it's thinking, what it's supposed to be doing to know what to do.
Okay.
Now the other one is similar to that, but like right now, it's the after start duty mode is on table. So you would think it's going to use this table right here. crank the car at this temperature, you would think I'd get 60 as a base duty, and it would ramp down. Kill the car. Turbo timer. Hate this thing. Turn the car back on. Connect. It should be in what the hell? Table. I didn't do that, but okay. So we should be seeing 60, but if you look over on the left, actual duty cycle is 35%. Wow, why? I spent an hour trying to figure this one out. You ready for this one?
Well, it's not running. It's not running yet.
Correct. It's not running yet. So we're in start duty.
Right.
We're in start cranking duty. Okay.
Right.
So because this number you're on the table. This is the screen that you're on. To me, that shows that it would be at 176 degrees. That would be inputting a 60% duty
after
to start the vehicle.
After it starts.
After it starts.
After start idle duty.
Correct. You're correct, and that's how I got. This is how I found the problem. Not problem. This is how I found how to solve it.
Right.
Was you have to click on this. You have to go back to fixed values, and then hidden behind there, you have idle crank duty. So if you don't go back there, you can't get there to change the idle crank duty. So if you understand what I'm saying? If you don't know
right.
that table is there, you don't know to go back there to find it.
I see what you're saying.
I'm just trying to point it out so that someone can go, oh, okay, because everybody who uses this and is super familiar with it, because I kept going, I know I saw a cranking duty cycle. I know I saw it. I know it had to be there. So, I'm going through all the screens going, I can't find it. Then I started clicking the drop downs, and as they change, then things come up, and there's other things behind there, but it's using the other things. When you think if you have it turned off, it's not using them. That's what I'm saying. It's like, how do you know when it's going to use the tables in the background or not? Is that a fair statement?
Right. Hang on just a second.
And when you put air and ignition, it only uses one. But it locks the ignition at wherever the ignition was last left. And I can go in and adjust the gains. If the problem is I don't have a problem making it idle, I have a problem with how do I know when the ignition timing is going to stay where the ignition timing is going to stay so that I can put in air duty cycles that work with the ignition timing. That's what freaked me out. I was like, okay, I can tune it. Every time I touch the screen, it might be a different number.
Start it up for me.
And I have no idea why it's grabbed the number 3 each time for you. I've had every number between -8 and +8 all morning long before I called you. Just saying. That goes, directly to ignition. When you completely disable it, doing the exact same thing I was doing all morning, going, okay. See, now it's at 2.6. And the other thing, now, I just want to point this out, is the idle table that the RPM it's requesting. And where we at temperature-wise, where 180, it should be 850. And in nowhere, shape, or form are we near 850 RPM. So then that again makes me go, is there another table?
Well, that's because we were in open loop.
Correct. I mean,
open loop. There was another.
Right. It was just running off that duty cycle there.
Right.
But it still wasn't moving the timing around. Well, okay, it was an open loop. Yeah, it's just running just off the table.
Right.
But that's how I caught the problem. Like right now, I just locked it at 10. That's how I caught the problem. Is I kept trying to figure, why do I have to move the open loop numbers around so much to get the idle to be different? And then I glanced over the timing. I'm like, the timing is different. That's the glitch I'm talking about. Just came across the screen.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it'll, yeah, that. And it's light. You hear it in the car. I mean, it looks worse on graph than it does in the car, but it's consistently doing it.
Well, it's happy idling right there, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But I don't know. I mean, I would rather have more idle air duty cycle maybe and not have the timing pulled down to 2 degrees. But I mean, I can change, the amount of timing it's using to control idle and let it kind of learn.
Right.
Well, no, because it's a straight linear graph between -20 and +20. So that's how I did my car. I offset them. But I mean, it's definitely happy. I have no problem with it being happy. I'm a little confused with, is it going to be consistent as I go through and make adjustments with where that ignition angle is? And therefore, the only way for me to get a good answer is to leave it with both of them functioning. But when I leave both of them functioning is when I get that glitch. When I turn it off and just go to idle air motor, I don't get that glitch.
Well, I just took the maximum retard to
0. Now, because the difference between 0 is 5, it's a linear interpolation between the top number at 0% duty on the output and the bottom number at 100%. So it draws a linear line between the two.
Right.
So that's where your timing number at a 50% idle air motor is going to be exactly half of that timing number.
Right.
But because you added timing to it, now my idle air motor cycle is down closer to the bottom, where I like it. It hadn't glitched in the past couple seconds. So the glitch is more a question of, is it because the timing is so low and I'm getting a misfire and the car is reading a misfire? Or is it a glitch in the control system that's causing it to glitch to sound like a misfire?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
It's smooth right now. And that's where I was going with the original question. I was like, okay, is this an effect or a cause? And when I saw the and or thing up there, I was like, okay, I'm going to call Steve anyway because he just needs to see that and or acting strangely.
Yeah, it's smooth as silk right now.
Yeah, it is. And I have not seen a glitch. And that's a much better number for idling at. And my duty cycle, airflow wise, is much better. And that's normally where I would think it would be. But I was just trying to, as I was adjusting this and the ignition timing, like when I went out of closed loop and went into just the table, and my ignition timing would be in a different place. Yep.
I think it's because we were too close to TDC with the ignition, is what I think.
Okay. I mean,
I think the engine didn't like it.
okay. That's after playing with you on the phone, I think I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's with negative 10 degrees.
Yeah, it doesn't like it.
No, I mean it's there. I mean I put negative. Nope, there it is.
There it is, right there.
But we're idling at 9 degrees before TDC. That shouldn't have been a problem.
There it is. And now you see how that is the other thing. Oh, you made a change, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
I made a change. Yeah, so that's beautiful right there.
And as I said, I haven't had a problem getting it to do what I want, but when I started changing the at or the or up there, and then it was locking the ignition timing at different places, I was like, okay, I need to know if there's another setting somewhere else in the background that I should be adjusting also, or along with, or something.
Any
or
number
I'm not understanding.
Any number other than 0 seems to cause a problem. Yeah, it's steady at 850, and lambda looks good. Ignition timing's bouncing around within 1 degree. I mean,
yeah, I mean, boom, there's one.
Uh-huh. All right, so I know what to show them now. So here we have.
See, look, now the ignition timing is 9.6.
Yeah.
Which is exactly where it was when you did that. And if you go in and move that other screen to like a -10 or a -20 even, so that it's running a negative number, and you can go back and switch it back out of closed loop, it'll lock at that negative number. I guess my only question about the fixed values there, the idle crank and the hold time after idle, well, the hold time after idle shouldn't, if you're in the other one, not fixed values, if you're in tables, it's a table. You've got time at the bottom and how it ramps down. You don't have a fixed time.
Right. But this is after the engine starts.
Right. So you would want to take that number and that 60 up there be at 35 to match your 35 at cranking.
Correct.
But if you don't know that that table's back there, you're pulling your hair out going, okay, I just want more idle.
Right.
I want more, air at cranking. But yes, I agree, that's after, and it is the ramp down.
It's almost like it's getting a spike in the RPM that we're not seeing in this data log. And it's making it overreact.
We can put cam and crank trigger in there and see if we got any of a trigger error.
Well, the issue is like this is only about 20 hertz, and you may not be able to see any errors. Let me see if that makes it better or worse. There's one. See, the only reason that would happen is because it sees a low RPM and it's trying to catch it.
Agreed.
But if it can record the reaction, it should also record the cause.
Got a real-time numbers. Well, again, the frequency we're recording it might not see it, so.
Huh. Well, that didn't do anything. So let me try.
I have to log in and look at it, see if I see anything.
Oh, there it is. All right, well, I've sent this information to Anders. Um, when you send your data logs now, the cal file is